Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode. It's Jay here,
And it's Amanda.
and today we're just going to be talking about how we overcame stress this last semester. Has been really hard for us. And so yeah, we're just going to get into how our experiences, because I'm pretty sure we both had different experiences with stress and the loss of motivation, the self discipline that we have either gained or that we feel we still need to get. Try to not be as lazy and be more productive and, just grow. So, for me, I can personally say that this semester, it wasn't necessarily hard. I was busy. I was very busy all semester. It was nonstop for me. But I definitely felt like I could have did way better, especially academically. I mean, I got through all my classes. I passed my classes, but I'm still not where I want to be academically. And this semester just kind of left me, I don't know how to, it left me, I don't even know. Like, I just didn't feel anything after the semester ended. I didn't really feel any relief. I didn't feel happy. I didn't feel sad. I just felt like, oh, it's done type of vibe. So, I don't know. I definitely feel I could have did way better, but yeah, I wouldn't. It was a little stressful, trying to continue, especially like the last 2 weeks with classes, tests, and all that extra stuff. I could say that's when it really got to me. But like, I just feel I could have did so much better. And I don't know if that's just my inner critic, but for me, on paper, I could have did much better. What about you?
I feel from the beginning of this semester, it was very difficult. I just remember a lot of days where I was very stressed, I was very unmotivated, but I have this certain drive about myself that I have to keep going. Um, there was a lot of days where I wanted to give up. I was literally praying every single day to pass my class and to do what I got to do. No one else can do it but me. So trying to overcome that was very difficult. It was a very hard semester, I would say, for myself. Um, it was just a lot going on mentally that I had to overcome. And some days where I just did not want to get up and do anything. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I didn't even want to do schoolwork. As you guys know, I am in the nursing program, and that is nothing to play about. It's nothing funny either. And so going into that, it was just, I was excited. I was hopeful, ready to learn. There were days where I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm in the nursing program. And there were days where like, oh my God, I am in the nursing program. And it was just a lot of overcoming, a lot of discipline, a lot of believing in myself that I could do it. Because most days I just felt like I didn't have what it takes to be in the nursing program. Like, I didn't even know how I even got this far. I felt like I wasn't really that smart enough to be here during this whole semester. But I'm here. I'm still alive, standing, and I made it through my first semester of nursing school by passing. What are some ways where you say you overcame a stressful moment? Like, what did you do in that moment to overcome it?
I would say to overcome it, I definitely sat in the moment and analyzed myself. I paid attention to why I was stressed, what I was doing, like what I could possibly control in that moment. Um, Most people do. For me, I got down on myself. You're usually your biggest critic. And I was questioning myself, my abilities, my skills, my efforts. And like I feel like I'm definitely growing and I'm definitely getting better at things, but sometimes I feel it's going to be way too late for me when I do finally figure everything out. And I know like med school, they're not trying to have the most perfect, person Like, that's not everything that they're looking for. And I know a lot of organizations and stuff like that, that's not all they want. So it's just like, I don't have to be perfect, but I definitely see my flaws and I definitely understand my flaws. And sometimes it's just hard, like when I am stressed, it's hard to see myself in the best light. I just get to the point to where I'm just like, no, you're not good enough, like all that stuff. I say like a lot, but don't mind me. But yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's basically what I'm doing. That's basically what I do when I'm stressed. I just sit back and let myself go through the motions. When I'm out of it, I recoup and retry. What about you?
I like to reflect on all the things that led me up to this moment. Um, when it came to like moments of stress, it was more so of believing in myself that I could do it. Like I could overcome this. I would usually lean to God during those moments, and I try to pray that this stress doesn't last forever. This moment is not going to last forever. This exam is just a one and done exam. I just have to do what I have to do, or the class, the situation that I was going through. It's not something that lasts forever. It's in the moment. So it's not going to take over my whole life. In those moments, I reflect and I try to remember the good things, remember how I got here, remember that I am capable of doing this work, putting in the work, and getting to where I need to be, which is get to the end of the semester with A's and B's and making sure that I pass every single one of my exams with a 75 and higher. And that's just how I dealt with my stress. I most likely wanted to isolate myself and be alone, didn't want to talk with anyone because they can't do anything for me. Essentially, it's really up to me and God to figure out what I need to do to become better and to do better within that situation. Um, when you were lazy, what did you do? Like, how did you overcome it? What made you lazy, or what made you want to just not do anything?
When I felt in my lazy moments, most likely I was tired, and um, I kind of gave myself leadway to, oh, I have been doing all of this all week. Maybe I can take a day off. And even sometimes I felt self care is very important, especially when you're busy, especially in college, when you have so many factors to make sure you have. But I would give myself that, and then I'll feel bad for giving myself time to myself. Um, but in other cases where I know I need to be doing stuff and I have stuff to do, I would personally, I would look into my future, and I would see myself in, is what I'm doing right now helping me get to where I need to be. That's what I would do to shake myself out of that laziness. I would look into the future or into like the next week and be like, you're going to be mad that you didn't take that time and do what you had to do. So just get it done. That's kind of my mindset when I am lazy and I know I need to get stuff done. What about you?
When it comes to me being lazy, it's more so of, like Gianna said, being tired, feeling like I need this break. When I do take the break, I feel like I need to be doing something. It kind of goes hand in hand for me with procrastinating. When I know the assignment's not due until Sunday and it's Wednesday, I be wanting to not do it until the appointed time, because everybody knows if you're in college or in high school or whatever, some of your assignments are going to do at Sunday at 11:59. So it's kind of like, oh, I can wait it out. I don't have to, do it right now. And then when it comes to that time, then it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I have 3 assignments due that Sunday at 11:59, and then I have a whole exam coming up that Monday, and I could have used that time to study. Me personally, I try to get out of my laziness by trying to do something fun, or I try to get up, I try to move around, clean, do something to get my body moving, so I know there's a way I can function properly, eat a good breakfast. It's just different ways for me to get out of laziness. Or I write in my journal. Writing down things help me. Or making a planner for myself. Okay, I know I'm lazy right now. Let me make a plan. Let me put down the things that I need to do for this day and try to execute them, at least half the list, before the day's over, before I clock in and be like, oh, not clock in, clock out and be like, oh, it's time to, lay low, time for bed. So planning worked for me. Okay, I got this time at 10:45. I got to do this at 11. I have to do the next thing. Give myself an hour in between. Okay, I got to study a little bit for this class, and so on and so forth. So I try to find ways to get out of that laziness and to not procrastinate too much about my assignments and things that I have to do. And that's just.
What was your most stressful class this semester?
I would say pathophysiology, where it deals with the diseases. You have to know the signs and symptoms, the treatments, everything that goes hand in hand. Why does this disease happen to said person? It was kind of like biology and human anatomy mixed together. And I don't like biology, and human anatomy I love it. I love learning about the body and everything. So mixing those two, something that I don't really like and something that I love together, was good for me, but also a very hard thing to overcome. It was challenging. There was days where I was like, oh my God, this is too much information. Like, how am I supposed to do this, like for this test? And I have 2 more exams I have to study, plus a skills check that also has to go hand in hand that same week. It was crazy. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't pass every exam this semester, but I did pass that final exam coming up to it. But for that class specifically, it was by God's grace that I passed. Because I most definitely said, if I do my part, God will do the rest along the way through that whole class. The teacher wasn't really teaching. They got somebody else that wasn't even part of nursing. They got someone else from a pharmacy building. And it was crazy. He didn't understand. He was trying to do different teaching styles, and it was just not working out. Everyone was confused. So it was basically like we had to teach ourselves, and it was just too much. There was days where I just study, have to do note cards, flashcards, go on Quizlet just to learn about the signs of system, the diseases. There's different parts that goes into it, what system it's part of, like the reproductive or the brain central nervous system. It was the urinary system. It was just different parts that you had to know for that class. And even moving forward, there's also different parts that's going to go into another class. But it was just a class that really it made me run. That's what I do know. It made me run. How about you?
For the most part, I could say organic chemistry 2 and anatomy and physiology 2. Those 2 classes had me in the chokehold all semester, and it did not let up until school was literally done and my grades were in. Yeah. Every week it was something with those classes. If it wasn't this class, it was definitely the other class. If it make my week worse, it'll be both classes at the same time. 2 exams in 1 week for both of those classes. So those definitely had me in a chokehold, but I did, I used my extracurriculars as an outlet. I used my other easier classes as an outlet, and I did my best. Could I have done better? Definitely. And I will not sit here and continue to say that when the semester is over. I'm just going to reset myself during this break and, move on to next semester and do better and do as much as I can. Do you feel like you have a lot of pressure on you?
I would say I feel like it's 80% a lot of pressure. No, it's about 90, 95, I would say. when it comes to me being in nursing school, everyone knows where I'm at. Everybody knows I'm in the nursing program, so it's kind of like, I mean, there's no way you need to fail. We all know what you're capable of and everything under the sun. And just like no one really take a step back and be like, Amanda, how are you mentally? What's going on with your mental health? Is everything okay? Like, it's kind of like, okay, your mom is this, is that, and third. If you don't know, my mom is a nurse. She just became an RN. And so she's went through everything. She's been through the motions of nursing school, what she had to do to take it, and the stress that she had to do it. But she also had 3 kids that she had to take care of at the same time. So it's kind of like there was double pressure on her. But for me personally, it was more so, well, I feel a lot of pressure because, for one, my mom is counting on me. Like, I know she's there for me because she's been through the same thing. So she can help me out with these courses that I'm taking. So it's like, there's no way you need to fail. I have other family members like, oh, Amanda, you're not, dumb. You know what you need to do. You've always thrived. You always did good. No one had to tell me, what I needed to do to pass my classes or anything like that. I was always on my own. So the pressure is definitely there for me. Of course, I know not to like please other people, or I need to please anyone with my career path, because I know what I want. I've been knew what I wanted, and I'm here now because of it. And I'm the reason why I am doing what I need to do. I still feel pressure from my mom, from godparents, from my aunties and uncles. Like, oh, you're in nursing school. That is so great. We love that. And I'm just like, yes, it's so great. But the mental part of it is honestly the worst part. It was a lot mentally for me this semester. And the pressure that I put on myself, because, we're our own self-critic. I hold myself to a very high standard when it comes to my classes and when it comes to passing my classes. Everyone around me can let you know that. And the pressure that I have on myself is 10 times worse than what anybody else could ever have, because I know what I could do to be better, and I know what I'm capable of, and I know my drive that I have for my career path and for my passions that I have in life. And so it was mentally draining for me. And the pressure that I put on myself was a lot to take in. And I realized that I didn't need to put that much pressure on myself. But then again, it's kind of like, it's hard not to, because I want to pass. I don't want to fail. I don't want to retake a class. I want to be good in my ability to pass my classes. I want to thrive. I want to be the best that I can be. It takes a lot for me to overcome a lot of things. Not to say that overcoming is such a hard task for me. It's just understanding where I messed up at and where I need to put more work in at, depending on what class it is, a situation in my life personally. It just takes time, and the pressure is just, it eats me up sometimes. I'm not gonna lie, it eats me up. But that's why I lean on God. God was my person this semester. He should always be my person, but this was the semester that I needed him the most, if I'm being completely honest. And yeah. How about you?
For me, I have always played my biggest critic, as I said earlier on. Ever since middle school, maybe, I realized that, and I realized that I do strive to be as best as I can, and I still don't even feel like I have opened up my full potential as a student. And it's more than just trying to be a student now. I'm trying to be a well-rounded person. So there's more that I need to get into, more that I want to get into, that I feel could really aid me in that journey. And so school is definitely, really huge for me. I push it to everyone. I think school is very important, especially as Black young adults. Like, education is something that they can't take away from us. So I definitely push the whole idea of going to school, getting your degree, And it's not even really about the degree. Getting that job, being a leader in your community, that's what I strive for. That's what I want everyone else around me to strive for. It's just to be their full self. I'm not saying you need to go to school to be your best self, but I definitely think that that is something like nobody can take away from you. They can't take away that degree ever. So while I'm in this process of trying to get my degree, trying to go to med school, trying to become a doctor, I definitely want to make sure that I'm putting my best foot forward and I'm exceeding those expectations. And even now, I don't feel like I'm exceeding those expectations that are set for me as a pre-med, and the expectation that med schools have for their students. It's not even about family or anything. Like I said, my family knows that what I want to do, and just them knowing puts a little bit more pressure on me. I'm not saying like they aren't the type of people to go like, they know that I have myself. They know I'm not going to just do anything and fail and just be all over the place. Like, ever since I was little, my mama didn't have to tell me to study. She didn't have to tell me to get good grades because she already knew I put that pressure on myself. And so I definitely feel like my family definitely looks at me and they see that I can do it, and they see that I can be great, and that they know I will get to where I want to get. And just having them, just knowing that they're thinking like that, puts pressure on me to make sure I am doing it. Make sure, not doing it for them, but doing it for myself. I know at the end of the day they want me to be happy, but this is a goal definitely for myself. And the standards of academic, socially, and all of that is just already high outside of my own standards for myself. And so I do just I feel pressured. I definitely feel pressured, but I feel like it definitely starts with myself. And I'm still digging, y'all. I'm still digging, trying to figure out what it is like that's not really clicking for me. Because I know my passion is to become a physician. My passion is to help people and travel the world and give my time to people who are less fortunate than me. And so I know what I want to do. I just sometimes don't feel up to par. Don't feel good enough to be a doctor. Like, I'm like, I compare myself. That's one of the main issues. I compare myself still to other students and stuff like that. And I know in a previous podcast we talked about that, but we could give our advice. We're giving our own advice that we definitely should be following ourselves. And we could like make it sound good, but most of the stuff that we do talk about, we're still struggling with. We're still trying to get through. So, yeah, I definitely do feel I am my biggest pressure. And, I feel like I have oldest daughter syndrome, if that's a thing. The oldest daughter feels she needs to do everything, achieve everything. I know most people feel that way. Don't you feel that way? You're the oldest.
I haven't felt. I feel like I have to go through a lot of things for my other siblings to see what they should not do. I feel like I'm the first of many.
Yeah, the blueprint. That's what I feel. I feel like the blueprint. I feel like I'm going to be the one going through trial and error, which I'm fine with, As long as my siblings are good, as long as people after me are good, I'm fine with being a blueprint. I'm fine with failing 100 times before I can succeed, to make sure that the people behind me has a good path to go through. And I'm not saying they're following the same path I'm going on, but I just want them to know that anything is attainable. And if you put your mind to it, you could literally get it if you put your mind to it. There's nothing or no one who could really take that away from you. So I definitely, I don't know.
I sometimes wish I wasn't the first daughter. I sometimes wish that there was somebody else that was going through this that could let me know what not to do, so I didn't have to go through so many things to figure out what I wanted to do. But like you said, it's all part of life. I was first born for a reason, and I'm here now. I can't really wish upon a star to wish I had an older brother or older sister to help me out. I mean, it is what it is. At the end of the day, just gotta push through.
I think like that sometimes too. I sometimes wish I had someone in front of me who did have the full college experience and who did, they may be going for, not going for like a physician or anything, but they have some experience that I can go back to and ask about. And that's why, like, trying to network with people, like, I don't really care for networking, if I'm being honest. I am a big connection person. I want a genuine relationship with people. And I know sometimes I gotta put that hat on to where, like, okay, just gotta do what I gotta do to get to where I gotta get. But I kind of don't like that mentality because I don't like feeling like I'm using people, and I don't want people to, use me. So, like, I do definitely go outside more to try to get experiences and different advice from different people, but it's hard to do that because a lot of people just feel like you want to use them and stuff like that. And even if you state like, hey, no, that's not the case, like, I generally, like, be my mentor at this point. Like, I actually want to make a connection and I want to learn from you. It's kind of hard to connect with people, and I hate that because I don't have anyone above me, anyone in front of me who did, the whole thing.
I mean, I see where you're coming from, but I feel like people will gravitate towards you without you having to say anything towards them. I'm a person that it's
You always been like
just
that.
they just I don't really seek. Well, I don't really seek. LOL. When it comes to like using people, essentially, I feel like everyone uses everyone in a sense for their knowledge, for their education, no matter where they are in life. If you're trying to get to, the manager level, of course you're going to talk to the current manager to see, hey, what can I do to move up in life? What can I do to move up in this facility, in this job application? If you're trying to join an org, you're going to talk to the members on the e-board to figure out, hey, what can I do? Try to build that interaction, build that relationship, essentially, to figure out what could be your next move.
But some people don't try to build relationships.
I mean, honestly, it's really the way you're talking. You want to build genuine relationships, and I feel like in life, yes, you can build genuine relationships, but it can only, it's like a short-term relationship. It doesn't have to be long-term. Like, we can talk to each other and we can be like, okay, yeah, I know this person because they're in this business, they're in this organization, and this is how we know each other. It's not like we finna, it might happen where you guys might want to go out for drinks and y'all can go on into that. But it's just like, I don't know, I like to let things flow. And if people don't really show interest in trying to get more of me, now I know where I stand with that person, because that's just what we are. You're just a business aspect of this relationship, and it will be strictly business unless we turn into something else. I don't really feel like I need to go in depth with certain people when it comes to building genuine relationship. It doesn't really have to be long term. It could be a, hey, how you doing? What's going on? Even if I'm the one that's always starting off the conversation, it's not a bad thing. It's just, that's a part of life. Some people don't like texting, or some people just, they rather be in the moment, which is when we see each other, and then we're like, okay, hey, how you doing? What's going on with you? It doesn't even have to be like, oh, you need to text me every day, or we need to text every so often to let me know that we're still in touch. It could be a, hey, I know you're a nice person. We've talked about some things with each other on the business side, on the personal side, and that's how we know each other and we move on. So when you say like genuine relationships and like wanting to build those with people, I be feeling like you be wanting more than just the, oh, I know you're in this org, or you're in this part, and you want to go further than that. And that's why I was saying people need to gravitate towards you, or vice versa. You gravitate towards other people. Gianna has a great soul. Like, your energy is good, and not everyone is going to gravitate towards you. Sometimes you just have to do that, and once people around them see you, that's when they'll come up to you. And that's just what I really think about it, essentially.
I feel like usually people network because they know someone has some type of connection. And so when I go to network, okay, don't be completely oblivious to the reason why I'm coming to you. You should know why I'm coming to you. But I'm not coming to you just to solely it'd be like, oh, I just need you for this. I'm going to go mind my business later. Like, no. I'm saying, like, I'm not looking to have super strong connections with everyone when it comes to networking and building connections, but I do want to make sure when we are talking, you're not giving me like short answers or the cold shoulder because you may not want to answer what I have to say. And I have definitely realized that like if I'm talking to someone, they just seem so like they're not as welcoming as I would be if I was in their position, then I do just cut it off. I don't continue. I just try elsewhere. And that's all that I can do. I can't force anyone to help me if they're not going to help me. So I'm not saying anything like wanting to be best buddies with everyone, but I definitely don't want it to feel awkward when I am coming to you and I'm seeking some type of advice or help to get me to where I'm trying to get. Getting back on track, because we kind of veered off, what is some advice you would have for someone who is, say, another nursing student who's also going through stress, or any student?
I would say to make sure that your time management is well kept together. For me, I have my planner. Write down everything that you need to write down. There's a saying in nursing school that if you don't write it down, then did it really happen? Did you really even want to do it? So I would say get a planner, even if it's a digital planner, it's on your phone, in your notes. If you have to get an actual planner, get a planner. Another thing I would say, if you believe in God, go to God, pray about it, do your morning prayer, do your nightly prayer, do your evening prayer, do whatever you got to do when you're talking with God. I would say make sure you make little notes. I made little notes. I put it on my door. Why do I get up every morning and do what I have to do? Because I want to graduate nursing school. Because I want to be the best that I could be. So I can, have money in my pocket. So I'm not struggling the rest of my 20s and 30s and have to go by check by check. I would say try to make at least a friend there that is going through similar problems with you. Yes, everyone in the nursing program is going to be stressed. Is going to be overwhelmed. But you have that one friend that you can go to and talk to, and they're there for you. Because there is going to be cliques, and there's going to be people that talk to their own people, and you're going to feel like an outsider, essentially. I feel like an outsider. I still do. Those are my main points. If you can get with a group of people to study. Ask them, hey, are you guys studying today? When it comes to dealing with stress, try to make sure that you're taking care of yourself mentally, doing things that make you feel good. If you have to, get your nails done, get your toes done, do your hair, take a bath, a warm bath with some bubbles, clean. If eating is your love language, go ahead and get something to eat. Spend a day doing drawings, reading a book. I don't know, watching YouTube, reality TV. Find something that you love to do, love for fun, just to take your mind away from nursing school or what a nurse should do when exams and tests and everything like that. I would say find ways to make yourself feel loved in a sense. That you actually love yourself and love where you want your mental health to be. Love yourself, essentially. That's what I would tell you guys. That's what I want someone to tell me. That's what I wish someone would have told me. Those are my main points. How about you? What would you tell somebody who's on the pre-med biology track going through the classes that you're going through?
For me, definitely understand you and your own abilities. Don't compare yourself to other people. You all are trying to get to the same spot. To the same place, not same spot. And they're struggling. If they're not struggling on the same thing you're struggling on, just know that they are struggling on something. Like, no one's perfect. All of us go through those stresses. And this advice for any major. Like, don't compare yourself to anyone sitting next to you. Focus on your own journey. Focus on your grind. And make sure that at the end of the day, even if you failed that exam, at the end of the day, you could say that you put your best foot forward and that you actually worked for it. So make sure that you are giving your best self in everything that you do, which I'm also working on. So this is also advice that I will be following. And to not listen to your inner critic. Usually, like I said, your inner critic is usually the hardest one to get past. It's it's usually worse than what people say on the outside. So definitely get to a place in a mindset to where you can mute that voice and bring out the more positive side of things. Bring out the optimistic side of yourself and tell yourself that you can do it. Lastly, I would also say just give it to God. As long as you have worked for it, as long as it's in your destiny, your journey is written already down for you, you will get to it. And give all the worrying to God. That's what I can say I did not do, which is the reason I was stressing so much, because I was worried about things that were out of my control. And so definitely give it to God and pray. Continue to pray. Continue to be strong in your faith. And the world is your dance floor. So wherever your feet land, that's where they were meant to land. So that's all I have to say about the advice part.
Thank you guys so much for listening to this podcast. Again, we are so sorry that we missed the last 2 Sundays. As you can tell in this podcast, we were going through it, but we made it through the end. We saw the light, and we passed all of our courses, our classes, with flying colors. So there's that.
Flying colors is kind of wild.
No idea.
Amanda passed with flying colors. Gianna passed.
Barely passed. I barely passed.
Gianna passed.
Did what I had to do.
But as long as we got through it, some people didn't pass. So I'm grateful that I got the grades that I got and that I'm able to move on to my next courses. So, amen to that. But yes, like she said, thank you guys for listening to this podcast. And we will hear, we will speak. Yep. We will speak to you guys next Sunday. Bye.
Toodles.